I woke up some 3 hours later
Uh-huh.
facing a wall, a white wall. My mouth had been taped shut and I had cotton balls all in my mouth.
Right.
And my hands were actually fastened down to keep you
Wow.
from going like this if you wake up in a stupor. And so I didn't know where I was. I thought I was in some kind of a mental hospital because I was staring at a white wall and there was nobody.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." No one's
God,
coming.
that sounds like a Hostel movie or
And
something.
so, yeah, and so
Yeah.
I tried to get up, but because the anesthetic had numbed all of my limbs, I just and then fell on the floor.
Hello and welcome back to Archeo Scoop. This is the show.
Where we talk about Crimson Desert and Skyrim off the air for 30 minutes. And then Mark comes back and goes, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to do this today."
Exactly.
So today we're going to be talking about news from history, archaeology, and the cultural sphere. And we could talk about the archaeology of Crimson Desert, but Mark is going to go first this time.
I am, yeah. And today I'm going to start with a story examining uh, tooth tooth surgery. This is the oldest known evidence of dentistry has been
Oh,
found in a. Can you guess in what sort of context?
dentistry. So it has to be
Hmm.
humanoid,
Yeah,
unless the fish have figured it out. Uh, is it I would say Neanderthals in the cave,
it is.
but
It's
maybe.
Neanderthals. Yeah.
Yes.
Study has suggested this is the case. Around 59,000 years ago, a Neanderthal had one of their teeth drilled to treat a painful cavity, according to a new study. The Neanderthal tooth found in a Russian cave shows evidence of treatment for caries, which is the scientific term for tooth decay. And someone had used a stone tool to drill a hole into this tooth, removing an infected tissue that was inside. According to research published today in PLOS One, uh, the senior author, Ksenia Kolobova from the Russian
I
Academy.
apologize to everybody who is Slavic.
Ksenia Kolobova.
Пошли. Все вместе.
From the Academy of Sciences Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography said the tooth was the oldest evidence of invasive dental treatment found to date. Along with other evidence of symbolic art, burials, and complex tool use, this tooth challenges old stereotypes that Neanderthals were cognitively inferior to us. They could say the word cognitively, you know, in period. The impulse to treat disease and relieve suffering is not uniquely modern, and presumably in this context, talking about so-called modern humans. So us for the past several thousand decades, no, several tens of thousands of years,
Tens of them.
um, is in ancient. It is ancient and is part of our shared hominin heritage. The tooth was found in Chagirskaya cave
Cocainum.
in southwestern Siberia, which has been a rich source of Neanderthal fossils. It was an adult molar found in a layer of sediment that dated to around 59,000 years ago, and it had a deep hole reaching into its central cavity, which would have contained dental pulp. This dental pulp is the innermost part of the tooth and contains blood vessels and nerves. So this wouldn't have been pleasant.
So what did the drill look like? Was it obviously it can't be a, but it has to be something that they can do this with.
Yeah, well, what they found was that the drilling was likely with a stone point, like the ones found in the cave, and they produced the same microscopic wear patterns on the enamel and on the tooth itself. So we can confidently say, they said, the marks were the result of deliberate human intervention on the tooth using the stone tool. And also, the tooth shows clear signs of healing and use after modification. So someone drilled the tooth. There's a big hole, there's a crack. This was And then yeah, I mean,
Was it so what which tooth was it? Was it a back tooth?
it says here, well, it was a molar.
Okay.
Doesn't quite say which one, but it was a
People don't
molar,
realize that
a big tooth.
molars are they go down
Yeah,
in your jaw.
yeah.
And so there I had a friend in Newmarket who I had joked if that there was a troll living in her tooth because she had the tooth drilled and then she eventually had to have it taken out.
Hmm.
And when it was taken out, they gave it to her in a glass and the teeth went all the way down like that. It
Yeah,
was that big. And
yeah.
I said, "Well, that's your jaw." And then but she showed me the hole and I said the same thing. I went,
Hmm.
"Ooh, you got a troll living in there. How big is that hole? My
Yeah,
God."
no, exactly. And I mean, I've had at some point, I think I'm going to have a big tooth at the back out, but I've had a tooth come out at the back, and they even given how deep the roots are, they said that my roots were especially deep. And there was the most horrific moment where I'm not this, this isn't the US where you get like the good shit and you're sort of high as a kite. I was numbed up, but it's NHS, so I'm fully conscious. And this lovely little petite Asian lady, and I say that in so much as it's the context of everything about her. She was being very polite, very, very culturally just
Sensitive,
wonderful.
gentle.
Yeah, very, yeah, just yeah, and also her dad actually runs the dentist office, so she was very sort of like, I've got to get this right, got to get this right. So she's kneeling on me, she's yanking at the tooth, and she stops, and then I just hear her say to the nurse just above my head, but obviously not far enough away that I can't hear. She's like, "I'm not sure I can get this out. I'm not sure what's going to happen." And at that point, I couldn't close my mouth because it was out far enough that my mouth was, my teeth wouldn't, so so the nurse went, "It's okay, I'll help." So they ended up sort of apparently just basically getting both of them were like, "Yeah," and
Two
just like,
2 feet on the chest
yeah,
and
exactly, yeah. So these two determined, wonderful women finally got the tooth out, and
did your
and
tooth go, "Er,
well, I could hear the squeak. Put it that way, you could hear it squeaking on the bone. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, tenacious these roots can be, and in this instance, I mean that looks like it would have been very painful, but also oddly enough, very very worn down. Like the tooth is quite the enamel part of the tooth is actually quite shallow compared to where the roots
I
begin.
wonder if they maybe had sanded it to try to do
Oh,
something.
possibly. Yeah, quite possibly. Um, Also, there's a fantastic photo which I'll put on screen of the tooth being photographed in location. You've got the north pointer and the scale. It's just no banana necessary for scale. Um, it's a good archaeology photograph. But also, yeah, crucially, I mean, we were talking. Was it in the last episode about Neanderthals and other capabilities? We certainly have been talking about them recently, and
Mhm.
I think it's less and less of a question, and I suppose that the key question will be at what point will science reporting. So in this instance, this is from abc.net. This is the I think, is it Australian broadcasting? Um, at what point will regular reporting not feel the need to sort of qualify discoveries about Neanderthals as saying maybe they weren't, it's going to be interesting to see at what point that just becomes a norm and people just go, oh, it's cool, Neanderthals could do this, who knew, as opposed to maybe they weren't knuckle dragging
They
simpletons,
acted much
you know.
better than they did when I had my dental surgery. When I was 16, I had to have my all my molars were impacted. I don't know if you could see, but I have a tooth that's out of whack in the front
Uh-huh.
because all of my teeth started coming this way. And so when I was 16, I did get the good shit. And because they were so badly impacted, they had to put me, I was going to be like a 4 hour surgery.
Right,
My
yeah.
my teeth would have been horrible.
Mhm.
And so they couldn't find because I have small veins, and so they couldn't find for the anesthetic. And the doctor was like, "All right, count back from nine." I'm going nine, eight, seven, and he went, "All right, count backwards again from nine." And so I went nine, eight. I woke up. I woke up some 3 hours later,
Uh-huh.
facing a wall, a white wall. My mouth had been taped shut, and I had cotton balls all in my mouth.
Right.
And my hands were actually fastened down to keep you
Wow.
from going like this if you wake up in a stupor. And so I didn't know where I was. I thought I was in some kind of a mental hospital because I was staring at a white wall and there was nobody.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." No one's
God,
coming.
that sounds like a Hostel movie or
And
something.
so, yeah, and so
Yeah.
I tried to get up, but because the anesthetic had numbed all of my limbs, I just and then fell on the floor. And I wriggled out of the gurney. And
Uh-huh.
then again, because the only thing I could do was like control from my neck up, I like stymied it. I wormed out of the down the hall, like going like
Uh-huh.
this until finally I could hear voices in the distance. And I heard down the hall, I heard one of the nurses talking on the telephone. And so I made it and I managed to go like that on the floor, going, help! And so but I did that and I didn't realize I had made it into the waiting room.
Uh-huh.
And so
Oh my God.
everybody's going, ah! And then the nurse comes over, she goes, she's drugged. It's
Yeah,
going to be
it's
fine.
okay. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So
Yeah.
she picks me up like this, like I'm a me. And just goes "Woo," like that. And she sits me down. She goes, your mother is coming.
Uh-huh.
You are very high right now. I need you to stay calm. She said, I need you to listen to me. And so she takes the thing off, and all the cotton balls of blood fall out of her
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah,
And she
yeah.
goes, you're going to be fine.
Hmm.
I need you to do one thing.
Uh-huh.
Do not, do not drink through a straw for the
Okay.
next 2 weeks. Okay? Okay. And so I couldn't get down the stairs because my legs hadn't fully gotten their footing back. So I was like this, falling down the stairs this way, and I made it finally down the stairs, but I couldn't open my mouth big enough to fit a spoon in.
Uh-huh.
And so I stupidly, in desperation, because I couldn't put anything in my mouth, I used a straw, and immediately, and suddenly, all
Yeah.
the stitches came out
Yeah. Yeah.
because you don't realize how uh, um,
But you're
the
creating that pressure
pressure.
differential. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't realize it when you're using it. So
No.
there, that's my two story. And my story. So that's not my story for the week, even though that is a story that
No.
happened to me. I did slime me out of a doctor's office
I mean,
once.
that's cool. And also, I love the literal description of I almost just imagining you becoming like a
That
Z
is
shape,
really
and
what I
then
did.
yeah.
By my teeth going uh, because I couldn't use my arms and legs.
Oh, I mean, I can only imagine what it was like being in that waiting room. Someone's just there, like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be fine. It's just a checkup. There's not gonna be, and then you're like,
Yeah, and I literally went.
yeah.
And I'm crying and the blood's coming out of my mouth because like it's seeping out of the tape and everything. Oh, it was
Oh,
horrible.
wow.
Yeah. So now that I've horrified the audience, my story for
Get
my
what?
first story
What?
for the week.
Sorry.
Oh,
Give me Neanderthal dentistry any day. Apparently,
so
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
so. I say this thinking that we are so advanced that
yeah,
this is what happened to me when I just had to have my impacted molars out.
yeah,
It sounds like this guy had a very easy time
yeah.
relatively and lived
I
and he
mean,
was fine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My first story is very unexciting, which is the European Huns had ancient Siberian roots, linguistic study reveals. So this story is back in the news because this was in the news last year. This comes from the University of Cologne. And Mark, what language did the Huns speak?
Oh, Mongolian? I I don't know.
Are you thinking of like Genghis Khan? Because he's not a he's not a Hun.
I
Attila's a Hun.
apologies.
So, Mark, what language did the Huns speak?
uh, Hungarian.
Oh, you're very interesting that you choose that. But Hunnic is technically
Okay.
where it is the if you're thinking of the Mongolians come much later. But
Well,
and
now
in
I'm
the
just
complete
thinking,
in the completely different region of the
No, I know.
world.
But you see, now all I can think of is the "I'll make a man out of you." Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah,
unfortunately not.
no.
I wish. But the Huns in general, um, New linguistic findings show that the European Huns had Paleo-Siberian ancestors and do not, as previously assumed, originate from a Turkic-speaking group. And so Hunnic, uh, for a very long time, was thought to be a Turkic language because they came from possibly the steppes region. And so, but we have a certain, this is back in the news because people have been looking at Attila's name and going, wait a minute, that's a Germanic name. That's not a Hunnic Turkish name. So did they actually speak a Turkic language? So a joint study was conducted by Dr. Svenja Bondman at the University of Colonia's Department of Linguistics and Dr. Simon Fries or Fries, however, whichever way he pronounced it, in the Faculty of Classics and the Faculty of Linguistics, Philology, and Phonetics at the University of Oxford. The results of the research, linguistic evidence suggests that Xiongnu and Huns spoke the same Paleo-Siberian language. Have been published in the journal Transactions of the Philological Society. On the basis of various linguistic sources, the researchers reconstructed that the ethnic core of the Huns, including Attila and his European ruling dynasties, and their Asian ancestors, the so-called Xiongnu, shared a common language. This language belonged to the Yanisian, I think, or Yanai. I'm not sure how they pronounce it by either one. A Yanisian language family, a subgroup of the so-called Paleo-Siberian languages. These languages were spoken in Siberia before the invasion of Uralic Turkic and Tungusic ethnic groups. And so that's the point, is that they might not have spoken any kind of Turkic language at all. Even today, small groups who speak Yanisian languages still reside along the banks of the Yenisei or Yenisei, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, river in Russia. From the 3rd century BCE to the 2nd century BCE, the Xiongnu formed a loose tribal confederation in Inner Asia a few years ago during archaeological excavations in Mongolia, modern-day Mongolia, Mark, not in the days of yore. A city was discovered that is believed to be Longcheng, the capital of the Xiongnu Empire. The Huns, in turn, established a relatively short-lived but influential multi-ethnic empire in southeastern Europe from the 4th to 5th centuries CE. And so I just thought that was interesting because many people have been discussing this recently, saying that, well, Hunnic maybe wasn't Turkish at all.
No.
Or Turkic, I should say, because Turkish is a different language. And I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is interesting. And it's I think, just to go back to my my faux pas about Mongolian, I think it's because in that song they talk about to defeat the Hun, don't they?
Yes.
To defeat the Hun. Yeah. So there's a mental connection. Yeah. Disney. Okay, right. Well,
why'd they send me daughters
Yep.
when I asked for sons? And yet a daughter was the best one.
Sure, she was. She was. And
would you like to stay forever?
And there's never been a remake or any live action version. It was just the animated version that was made.
I completely forgot about all of that. I don't see any movies these days, so I don't think about any of that.
I don't blame you. Okay, right. My second story of the episode, it comes from Heritage Daily, and it is a medieval notebook preserved in a latrine.
Ooh, was it down in the
Yeah, it was in the latrine.
toilet?
Actually in the toilet. Excavations at Paderborn in Germany have uncovered a rare medieval notebook preserved for centuries inside a latrine. The discovery was made during construction work in the city centre, where archaeologists investigating buried remains found a small book among waste deposits dating to the 13th or 14th centuries. According to Regional Association of Westphalia Lippe, the notebook survived in unusually good condition because of the damp, anoxic environment inside the latrine.
I too am in good condition because of the damp environment.
Yeah. You're just like the moisture. It's good for me. Yeah.
Like marble.
Yeah. Maybe she's born with it. The object is made from leather, wood, and wax. you too are made from
I
leather, wood,
too
and
am made
wax.
from leather. Actually, if I were made from leather, wood, and wax, I probably would hold up a bit better.
Yeah. And is now undergoing conservation work at the LWL laboratories in Munster. Experts say finds of this type are extremely uncommon. Barbara Ruschoff-Partzinger, head of cultural affairs at LWL, said no comparable discovery has been made elsewhere in the North Rhine-Westphalia region. Similar writing tablets have previously been found in some other places, but they are they tend to be incomplete. And in no other case has an entire book survived in this way. The text is scratched onto wax pages written in Latin, and specialists hope that modern imaging methods will eventually enable a reading and a translation of the text to be easier. Once conservation work is completed. Archaeologists believe the notebook may have belonged to a merchant living in medieval Paderborn. Early interpretations suggest it may contain notes linked with trade or personal records. Sveva Guy, city archaeologist for the LWL in Paderborn, said merchants at the time were among the few members of society who were able to read and write. The use of Latin also suggests that the owner belonged to the upper social classes, she said. Although who knows if she said classes or classes, I don't know. The notebook was found alongside other medieval objects recovered from the latrine, including wooden barrels, fragments of cloth, pottery vessels, wickerwork, and a knife. These finds helped the archaeologists to date the deposit. To around 700.
Who throws all this down a toilet?
Yeah,
I wanna know.
barrels. Yeah. To be
How does
fair,
it fit down a toilet?
it may well be that. I mean, obviously, I don't know the full circumstances of this particular latrine, but it may well be that there's a larger chamber, perhaps, that all this stuff is gathering in. Anyway, it dates to about 700 to 800 years ago. Why the notebook ended up at the bottom of the latrine remains unclear. It may simply have fallen in by accident, they say. So yeah,
Maybe it was used as bum fodder.
well, you possibly, but again, given that it was wax in what looks, actually, if you didn't know better, you might think it was a Roman thing. Basically, it's wax embedded in wood as part of this book. I'm not sure it would have made great bum fodder, but
Scraped you clean, that's for sure.
maybe someone was like trying to hide. Maybe they're cooking the books and they try to hide their dodgy accounts by throwing it down the toilet. I mean,
And
I
people have
guess we'll
been
find
reading
out.
on the can since antiquity, so
Oh yeah, but I mean, reading accounts on the. But then again, I suppose you might have been, might have just been catching, I don't know, who knows?
Listen, I
Who
wouldn't
knows?
put it past our good old buddy A and Nasir to be on the can and then just taking out some tablets from Nani and
Uh-huh.
and going, again with the copper, and then because those were small, right? You could
Yeah,
totally read that on the can.
yeah. No, makes sense, makes sense. But yeah, I always love me a good toilet find.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I'm just surprised that they managed to fit all that stuff down there. It's like the Mary Poppins bag of toilets. It's like, what
Mm-hmm.
else are you gonna fit in there? A house?
Mm-hmm. 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 Well,
My
it reminds me of the gong farmer, though. Do you know about the gong farmer?
Remind me.
So the gong farmer it's a medieval job. I don't know if that's the word that would have been used in Germany, but certainly in Britain in medieval times, the person whose job it was to go to the latrines and scoop out everything and redistribute it.
Oh yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
yes,
From the cesspits and such. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Oh yeah. So that means it's a Tudor term.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Gives new meaning to the Gong Show. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
My second story is from New Scientist. A lost ancient script reveals how writing as we know it is really began. But does it though, Mark? But does it? A long overlooked writing system from 5,000 years ago, still largely undeciphered, but could mark the moments humans first represented their speech with written words. And I chose this because we talked last week
Mm,
about the fact that the Rongo Rongo script might not actually be that old, which
no.
I was totally fine with, but some people seem to be upset about. So this one says, early writing is a tale of two scripts, har har. Egyptian hieroglyphs and Mesopotamian cuneiform both emerged independently around 5,300 years ago. The political powers of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia flourished in the centuries to come,
Hmm.
partly because writing helped states control the flow of goods and consolidate power. It also made the economy go.
Hmm.
The pen, or the ancient stylus, was mightier than the sword, or so the conventional story goes. There is a glaring omission here because at the dawn of writing, there aren't two scripts, there were three. That third mysterious script is, you want to take a guess, Mark?
I did read it and I've forgotten.
It's a proto-Semitic script, maybe,
Oh,
possibly,
okay,
possibly,
okay.
possibly. We're not sure. It's Proto-Elamite is what it's called. Appeared in ancient Iran while cuneiform and hieroglyphs were both in their infancy, and has been shockingly overlooked by all but a handful of scholars since its discovery 125 years ago. That is beginning to change, however, with far-reaching consequences. Although Proto-Elamite remains largely undeciphered, there is a tantalizing evidence that it became by far the most advanced of the three scripts in operation around 5,000 years ago. What we now know about the script story is so surprising and counterintuitive that we might need to rewrite the history books. Well, we have to put that one on the bingo mark. They'll
It's
have to
yeah,
rewrite the history
yeah.
books. No, they
I
won't.
think to be honest, I think we need some sort of. In fact, I'll put it on screen now. Some sort of equivalent of the ritual alarm. I think. Yeah, history books have been rewritten. Ah, kind of thing. Yeah. Mm.
We need the equivalent of bring out your dead,
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
out the books, bring
Yeah.
out the books.
Yeah.
Remarkably, this obscure writing system could represent a giant leap forward in how we represent speech in written form. Spoken language might be 1.7 million years old, maybe. But it wasn't until Proto-Elamite that we may finally have been able to start writing down exactly what we were saying. So why then did this incredible script vanish? Proto-Elamite writing tablets have been turning up in archaeological sites across the Iranian plateau since 1899.
Hmm.
Most were found in the city of Susa, which is associated with Elam culture that appeared around 4,500 years ago, but tablets predate the rise of Elam, which is why the writing system has been named Proto-Elamite. The
Hmm.
latest thinking is that the oldest tablets are around 5,200 years old, suggesting they slightly postdate the earliest text written using Egyptian hieroglyphs. So,
Nice.
and then it goes on from there. But if you've ever seen Proto-Elamite, there's plenty of you could see plenty of these tablets,
Hmm.
and they're just undecipherable. We can't read them.
What do you make of this idea that writing more or less the impetus to create a formal writing system comes from the need to manage essentially economic data and taxation and storehouses and this kind of thing? Because I've always not been entirely satisfied with that notion. I mean, what do you think?
I think well, I mean, people have been communicating. It's what is language?
Hmm.
I feel like we're back to that Fry and Laurie sketch of going, "Hello, we're talking about language,"
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
what is but our language, Tiger. What is language?
That is to say, what we are doing right now. We are
Yes,
using
exactly.
language.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. We're talking about languages. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean demagoguery, demagoguery. Yeah. So this what is language? Language is a means of communication
Hmm.
between two beings. Not
Hmm.
even, I won't even say humans, because obviously animals have their own languages.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whales talk to each other, we know that. So what is language?
Hmm.
That this is the great linguistic conundrum. Language doesn't even need to be spoken. It doesn't even need to be written down because we have sign languages.
Hmm.
So I don't think it necessarily came from accounting or from economy or anything like that. Obviously, it does obviate a lot of problems. I think rather it came from a need of just communication and
Hmm.
trade, of going, hey, do you see that guy over there? We should go tell Mani. All right,
Hmm.
I'm gonna stay here. I'll make some kind of sign saying, dude is over there. I
Hmm.
don't know him. You take this to that guy over there and we'll figure it out later. And
Hmm.
I think that's probably just where it came from. It came from a need to communicate something unknown, whatever that is. And obviously this Elamite or Proto-Elamite, I mean, it might be related to uh, um, like Scythian languages, Median, etc., or it could be Semitic. Not really sure. It's pot, but if you look at it, it's just a series of lines and dots. It's
Mm,
actually very similar to cuneiform in some respects
mhm,
because it's wedges, it's circles and lines and wedges in clay.
mm.
And whatever that means for these people. And I don't know what that their Elamites do have a type of cuneiform that is decipherable, but their proto-cuneiform is not decipherable. We don't
Mm,
know.
mm,
The proto-Elamites not. We don't know what
mm.
it says. So I think it's just a natural reflex of wanting to communicate something, whatever it is.
Yeah, and because and the reason I think why I've always found it a little bit unsatisfactory as a because it's not often that the explanation goes much further beyond that. People talk about cuneiform and they immediately talk about uh, not long after that things like linear B and linear A and
Oh,
knossos
linear B, yeah.
and
Yeah.
storage houses and all this kind of thing for agrarian goods. But we've talked about in previous episodes about the fact that you can just have signifying marks that we wouldn't call language because you can't construct independent sentences in either in a phonetic or in a pictographic way from these marks. But the marks do have significance for example, communicating. I think we talked about, say, permission to travel through people's land, for example, in Aboriginal Australia. Um,
We did
message.
actually, we talked once about as well, there was a flower pot that had the flowers had all had like a certain
Yes.
it was an Israeli artifact that had all the flowers had mathematically
Mm,
been placed in a specific way and they were trying to find out is this a means of communication?
mm, mm.
Is this just a gardening thing that
Yeah.
that this is how they
Yeah.
want to put out their flowers? But it did seem I think all of the flower petals were multiples of something
Mm,
and
mm.
seemed like they were counting something or that they were trying to communicate
Yeah,
something.
and so again, significant semiotics, signifiers, and of course at this point, kipu's worth mentioning as well. Knots on string, this kind of thing. So
Hmm.
you can have a complicated message and a specific message communicated without written language per se, and undoubtedly all of those require spoken language, or in the context certainly of culture of people who we know were speaking languages. But the reason why I find it unsatisfactory just to talk about essentially a modern economic issue. Oh, we've got a warehouse. How are we going to manage the warehouse, and who's going to tax, and how much is the tax going to be?
Mm.
Is that immediate when you have language, and it seems like it doesn't take long for people to figure out. You can also start to convey abstract notions, essentially storytelling. You can, you can write down stories that you've heard. You can even make up your own news stories, and wrapped up
Ew, who
in
wants to read that?
ugh, ugh. Shadow Bride, available now from all good books. But it that's the thing that I find really interesting is that the fact that then these stories can start to live outside of people's heads and have a life in clay, and that to me seems like a much more powerful reason to write something down. I suppose what I'm saying is to not forget stuff other than
Yeah, that's really the
no, no,
means
no,
of writing things down. The history of
yeah.
not
Well, yeah. I'm,
forgetting
I'm just,
stuff.
just ironically just write this down. It's about not forgetting stuff. Yeah. No, but it's stuff beyond merely the fact of counting. Because in that sense, you can go into the warehouse and count again if you have to. But I don't know. I just there must have been, or I can't help but think there must have been more. People must have recognised the application for writing beyond simply.
Well, of course, I
Yeah.
mean, Proto-Elamite, think there's like over 1,600 tablets that have been found.
Hmm. Hmm.
They had a lot to say.
Yeah. Hmm.
So whatever it was, I mean, if you look at the symbols, like I said, there's some circles, there's some lines. Some of them even look like little trees.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, we just don't know.
And also, I guess just one more thought on that. I mean, somewhere between the idea of recording facts like counting and stories is actually the moment you have written written form of language and a written conveyance of information, you also have the ability to quickly catch people up on what has already been learned.
Hmm.
In other words, textbooks. So we see in ancient Egypt maths textbooks, for example. So it's exciting, but I just I always find myself wondering or having to remind myself that this is simply the earliest one that we've observed, and the impetus for writing and for storytelling and for conveying accurate information has presumably always been there, but maybe it just gathered pace at this time and in these places.
I think in general, it really just has to, I think it's really about contact.
Hmm.
And I think it really, even if, let's say, these civilizations didn't trade much with each other at the time,
Hmm.
I just think it's that there's some guys over there, I can't understand them, but I can understand you. So let's figure out a way of communication.
Yeah,
I
and
really think it's that simple.
hence, as we were saying last time, Rongo Rongo is an achievement, regardless of whether or not they had seen other written languages. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
absolutely. They made it, but we can't still can't decipher it.
Hmm.
It's not bad. There's nothing wrong. Who cares if it's not
There's nothing
ancient?
wrong about it.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, okay, well, that's been an episode. Certainly been a scoop, and hopefully you guys at home have enjoyed this one. If there's anything that you'd like us to comment on in the news, please do comment below. Let us know. If there's any aspects of any of the stories that we've missed out on today, please do as well share. Oh yes, I have had it for a little while. The bingo card is now a thing.
Yay!
It is a thing. I've shared it on the Patreon.
Download, download,
So I'm going to
download.
I'm going to put the download link below so people can download the bingo card.
Hooray!
Yeah. And also, just as a heads up for folks, this year I'm going to be doing a midsummer moot as well.
Yay!
So yeah, and I think the theme might be the longest day for the opening
Is
one.
it the longest day,
Oh,
Roland?
I knew. Okay, right. People at home. So I shared this. What was it? The Ithaca story because you've got the Chris Nolan films coming out soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's going, oh my goodness,
Everyone's going, oh, but
Odysseus.
so historical, so
Yeah,
historical.
yeah.
Listen, guys. Yes, we can get upset about the fact that the costumes are not historical,
Oh,
but
but
the
did you see? Sorry, did you see today that Mr. Christopher Nolan? And the thing is, I love Christopher Nolan. I do. I've loved his films since forever. Prestige is one of the best, but he's going, yeah. So the music for this film, it's not actually got an orchestra because back in the day they didn't have an orchestra because I'm all about historical accuracy. And you're like, the armor, man. And he's like, no, I've got a reason for the armor. It's an artistic
it,
choice. Yeah, yeah.
it,
So go on, go
it's,
on.
yeah, exactly. The Trojan Wars did not happen.
No.
And it's all mythologized. So
Yeah.
I just love the discourse. I love how everybody's just getting mad about it. And it's just
Well,
so ridiculous. And then
but
I said, well, the only actual historically accurate Odyssey is Oh Brother, Where Art
yeah,
Thou?
I am a man,
Of constant
constant
sorrow.
sorrow. Yeah. And then I love it at the end of that song. He's like, what was it? Only four of us can write, so so and so's gonna have to sign his name with an X,
Yeah.
because he just wants that extra $10. But it, so yeah. So anyway, I shared this article where someone's saying that they found the Odysseus's whatever
Yeah.
sanctuary. That's it, on Ithaca, and I shared it. And with it, before you even got back to me, I just had the, really? Are you sure?
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah. Are you sure about that? Yeah. And yeah, it
Yeah.
haunts
Did
me.
we find the true place of a person who never existed?
Yeah, exactly. And bit by bit, basically, this series is my next sort of intellectual development by just learning to just have a little version of Michelle in my head that just goes, "Are you sure about that?"
Is it really though?
Exactly. That's basically it. Because because it's an important skill to have, especially when so many again, so it comes with the tide and time and fashion, and at the moment there's a big fashion for Odysseus, and yeah, It,
Just
It's a
just
life
letting you know,
lesson.
kids, we got no idea who Homer was, or if they were one person or many people,
Hmm.
or whether they were man, woman, or otherwise, or whether they were just a school of folks who were writing at the time.
Hmm.
No idea. So that's you can take that home with you today. Yep.
There, there.
Good night, folks.
Good night. Bye bye.